What is up, guys? Brandon from Gamergab here, and today I want to talk about E3 2019 and why, while I think that 2019 is going to be a great year for gaming, I'm not too sure how E3 will be. The main reason I feel this way is because we all know so much about 2019. We know it's packed with great games. Pretty much every gamer is going to have something to pick up by the end of 2019. However, this also leads me to believe that there's only so much that we'll hear about. I'm not talking about new information about games. I'm talking about new announcements for games as a whole. So like a new IP being announced. I don't see that happening that much in this E3, but I do think that overall 2019 is a great year for gaming. My main example for this is the Nintendo Direct. We already know a lot of Nintendo's plans for 2019. We know that Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is coming out, Super Mario Maker 2 comes out this year, and we know about Luigi's Mansion, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Animal Crossing, Daemon X Machina, a new Marvel Alliance game, Astral Chain, and Crash Team Racing. That is a lot to know about at this point. That's more than one game per month, so their release calendar is already stacked. There's only so many more releases that they could push out in a year to maximize profits for each game. You don't want to release all of your good games in 1 year because it just simply doesn't make sense. Like, why would you have two very high selling games under your own company come out so close to each other when they'll take sales from each other? So really, we can only learn so much about Nintendo's plans for E3. There's also mobile games, which we already know a good amount about as well. We know that Mario Tour is supposed to come out this summer, Dr. Mario is supposed to come out this summer, and we now know that there's this Pokemon Sleep mobile game that we're supposed to be waiting for. So we already know so much, and sure, while we don't know anything about Animal Crossing, and we pretty much know nothing about Luigi's Mansion and Link's Awakening and Astral Chain, that's not what I'm saying. I know that we'll get a lot of information about previously announced titles, but we're probably not going to hear about a new F-Zero game, even though I don't really think that will ever happen. A new Earthbound game. We're not going to hear that much new stuff. I do think that we will see perhaps one, maybe two big announcements because they have to come with something new for E3. It can't all just be, oh, I kind of already knew about that. They've got to hit us with something we weren't expecting. And I think that something that bodes well for this belief of mine is a recent GameStop leak showing 20 unnamed Switch games set to come out later this year. Now, they all had placeholder dates, so we can only speculate so much, but most of these games were priced at $59.99, which means they're either top-tier first-party games or top-tier third-party games. So I'm thinking that that supports the belief that maybe we'll get one or two more good announcements. We'll probably see some new announcements in the form of, third-party AAA titles and indie titles, but I know a lot of gamers don't really pay attention to indie games that much, and yes, I know a lot do, but I can talk to pretty much anyone I know and they don't pay attention to indie games. And for third-party games, a lot of the third-party games that the Switch has been getting already came out years ago or months ago, and on top of that, it's also good to point out that I also have a PS4, so if I'm hearing about a game that's coming out on the PS4 and the Switch, I'm going to get it on my PS4 because my PS4 has better performance. So Nintendo really needs to do well with their first-party titles, which is why they're always the key source of enjoyment, I guess, from Nintendo Direct. So I think they have to come with something new. There is another problem, which is that Sony won't be at this E3 event this year. They decided to back out. That's not going to be that good, but honestly, I don't think it's as big of a problem as how much we already know, because I don't remember anything really from Sony's E3. But then the other problem is I also don't remember anything from Microsoft's E3 conference and presentation last year. Now, we know that there's a new Halo game we should see, Gears 5, and Battletoads. I also saw about an xCloud and potentially new hardware. I hope that we don't see new hardware from Microsoft because I just feel like it'd be a little overwhelming for them to come at us every year with new hardware, but at this rate, I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw it. I do think there are some good things about E3 that may compensate for the things that I talked about. First off, back to Nintendo, it's a stacked year, so even if we don't get that much new stuff, we're still going to get plenty of interesting information about titles like Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion 3. I think Ubisoft's going to have a very enjoyable E3 conference. They have a Ghost Recon game that they need to talk more about, and they just recently announced that they'll be talking about a new Watch Dogs game. And those are all very prominent franchises in gaming that a lot of people will be paying attention to. There's also a lot of other new titles we can anticipate to see at this event, such as Cyberpunk 2077, the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Madden, Star Wars, FIFA, Dying Light 2, Borderlands 3, Wolfenstein, in some shape or form. So there's plenty for us to look at here. We could also see some other games, although they're not as, guaranteed or likely, such as Ghost of Tsushima, Splinter Cell, maybe even Mario Kart 9, even though I disagree with them doing that, and I'll explain after I finish the list. But we could also see Pikmin 4, The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, and like I said, maybe even Animal Crossing. However, I don't think Mario Kart 9 makes sense because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling so well that I just don't see the point in pushing out a new game. You want to let it run its course on the system, and then once you're like, okay, the sales for Mario Kart are starting to slow down, now we can push Mario Kart 9. But I think that's another problem, is that I don't think it really will slow down. It's such a staple in Nintendo's environment with, couch gaming with family. It's such a great game to play with friends. I don't really see it slowing down, which I think might make it harder to find a time to release Mario Kart 9. I don't know if they'll wait till the next console to put it out, but I just think that now is not the time to come out with Mario Kart 9. And Pikmin 4, we've known about it for years, so I don't think that'll show up either. Overall, though, I think that E3 has some potential, but it does have some weaknesses. We know so much already that there's not going to be that much room for surprises, but there's a lot that we do know that we don't know much about, which I think will make E3 filled with information for us to all enjoy. And it's really up to the Nintendo Direct and third-party studios, I think, to really make E3 great. I don't see Microsoft doing that much. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe box, and I'll see you again.